All right, what a great game we have to look forward to between the hedges. The Tennessee Volunteers, that high-powered, high-octane offense traveling to Georgia, the defending national champions that were spurned out of the number one ranking by the Tennessee Volunteers. They sit at number 3 with such a great group of players and unbelievable personnel. All right, let's break it down a little bit right now. One, the biggest key in this game. How do you contain the Tennessee offense? And what does containment of the Tennessee offense look like? Because to me, when I look at Tennessee, I think containment's like if you can hold them to 35, right? That's where we're at with Tennessee. They feel so good, so unstoppable, so pinpoint with their precision. After last week, their ability to now run the football, it's like, okay, pick your poison. Like, do you want to stop the run? Do you want to stop the pass? And if you choose one, how do you defend the other without putting too many resources towards one? It is a grind. And the one thing I would say too, Kirby Smart, the way he structures his defense, of course, we all know what tree he comes from. The way he structures his defense is very similar to that of how Alabama will structure their defense. So how will Tennessee try to exploit? Well, here's probably what I would imagine. A lot of formation into the boundary. You can expect a bunch of wide receivers into the boundary. Boundary meaning the area between the hash and the sideline. Say the ball's on the right hash, that means you have 3 receivers or so to the right side of the formation. Receivers into the boundary has given this defense trouble for a very long time. Another thing that you can imagine to getting from Tennessee, you can imagine them doing an awful lot of stacks and bunches. Those are also very difficult for all defenses for the most part, but for this defense in particular, stacks and bunches are very problematic. Why? Because Bama, Georgia, Tennessee back in the day, everyone that's run some variation of the Nick Saban style defense, which is exactly what Kirby Smart runs, what Dan Lanning and company ran last year, surely a little bit different naturally with how they do things, but at its core, very similar principles. It's a man defense. Yes, it's zone. They call it pattern matching, but it's a man defense at its core. So when they get into bunches and stacks, it's difficult to play those formations in man-to-man. Why? Because there's a lot of players in a really short area, and you can get a lot of natural picks and natural rubs when in stacks and bunches. So it basically takes what is normally a man defense, forces it into zone, and you get some more predictable looks. You can expect a decent amount of that from Tennessee. Here's the big question mark. We know Georgia's very good up front. We know they're very, very good when it comes to punching their opponents in the face with their defense on the field against an offense. One thing I've been wondering about, and I don't think Tennessee has really taken a team's best punch defensively. This will be the most physical group they've seen. This will be the most sound group they've seen, and it will be the biggest challenge that they've seen so far. I expect Tennessee, to do some of the things that we saw with Florida in a short period of time, granted not for 60 minutes, but I expect them to also do some of the things that Missouri did at times with their run game and being able to create some creases and getting Georgia to dictate, do you want to stop the pass or do you want to stop the run? Expect really wide formations. And if I'm Georgia, the first thing that I'm trying to do, I want to die by giving up 1 million paper cuts. I don't want to give up the big plays downfield. I want to stay up. I want to press. I want to get aggressive. I want to make sure I disrupt the rhythm, but I also need to understand I cannot allow the ball to get behind my safeties, and I cannot allow the ball to get thrown over my head. So I'm going to be just the tiniest bit more, I don't want to say conservative, but I want to be more cognizant of the big play potential of this offense. So that's where I'm starting. As far as Georgia's offense is concerned, this Tennessee team has done a great job playing the run all year long. A great job. And it feels like they're probably coming off their best defensive performance in, as long as I can remember. I want to see whether or not Georgia, who does not have super explosive offensive weapons. We know Brock Bowers is amazing. We know Darnell Washington is amazing. We know they have really good pieces at tight end. That's been documented. All right, Arik Gilbert, very talented player as well. Shoot, I mean, you name it, they can go 4 deep at tight end without really skipping a beat. They can definitely put 14 personnel on the field and play you by forcing you into big personnel. That's what I anticipate. I think Georgia's going to try to pound it because the best defense against Tennessee's offense might be long, time-consuming drives. Ball control, ball control, ball control. If you're Georgia, I expect a heavy dose of Edwards. I expect a heavy dose of McIntosh and Milton. I expect a heavy dose of the running game. I also think Stetson Bennett will have 7 or 8 carries that will keep you honest defensively. And then ultimately, who's going to be the guy in the passing game that Georgia leans on? That's what I'm still trying to figure out. I think Ladd McConkey needs to be a factor in this game because he has big play potential, and he hasn't always been majorly featured in the offensive plan. I think he needs to be in a game like this. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. And I think the score is going to be somewhere in the vicinity of like a 35-31, 42-38, somewhere around there. I lean towards the home team in this spot, but I think it's going to be really close. Tennessee feels phenomenal. Tennessee feels like the right side. If I had to bet money on the game, I would take Tennessee in the points. But I just think Georgia, having the championship pedigree that they have, and knowing that when they've revved their engine, they've been unstoppable, I think they're going to rev their engine for 60 minutes for the first time since week 1. I expect their best performance that we've seen since they played South Carolina. They've kind of gone through the motions the last few weeks. They won't this week. They're going to play phenomenal football. I think they're going to come out and they are going to knock off the number 1 ranked team in the country in the Tennessee Volunteers and remind everybody that they are the defending champs. Hey guys, it's Greg McElroy. Thanks for watching Always College Football. Make sure you like, rate, and subscribe to ESPN's YouTube channel and wherever you listen to your podcasts.